Imagine a single image, an immense tree whose branches stretch beyond the heavens, whose roots sink into the hidden bedrock of existence. This is no mere symbol. It is the cosmic blueprint of every soul, the living map of creation itself. Welcome to the real meaning of the tree of life. In every age, across every continent, initiates whispered of this sacred arbor, its leaves shimmering with divine intelligence, its trunk pulsating with the heartbeat of the universe. Yet, for centuries, its true essence has been veiled by dogma and dismissed as allegory. Tonight, we rip away that veil. In this journey, we will trace the tree's origin among the mystic gardens of Sumer, hear the voices of the Kabbalists as they decoded its enigmatic structure, and stand at the foot of the arbors depicted in sacred murals from Eleusis to Angkor Wat. We will reveal why this ancient symbol has slipped from our collective memory, buried beneath layers of ritual and mistranslation. By the time we reach the canopy's peak, you'll understand why the Tree of Life isn't just an esoteric curiosity, but a living guide for modern seekers. We'll uncover the hidden channels through which divine energy flows, and how aligning yourself with those streams can transform your consciousness, your purpose, and your destiny. Prepare to see the tree not as a static illustration, but as a dynamic, breathing reality, root, trunk, branch, and blossom, each representing stages of inner awakening. This isn't a dusty lecture on forgotten lore. It's an initiation. By the end, you'll carry its image with you, unlocking doors in your own psyche that you didn't even know existed. So lean in. Open your mind as you would a seed, because tonight, we plant the first roots of true understanding and invite you to grow alongside the Tree of Life. Beneath the soil of history, the image of the Tree of Life first sprouted in the Fertile Crescent of Sumer over 5,000 years ago. On clay cylinders and temple walls, priests of Eridu and Uruk engraved a stylized tree whose upward-reaching branches were topped with star-like blossoms. To them, this was a cosmic ladder. Its roots drank from the underground waters of Namu, the mother of all, while its crown basked in the radiance of Un, the sky deity. It was neither myth nor mere decoration. It was their blueprint for existence, etched in symbols meant to guide every initiate's journey from birth to divine union. Centuries later, this same archetype blossomed in Egypt's sacred texts. In the Book of the Dead, the god Osiris emerges from the Persea tree, whose fruit grants eternal life. Pharaohs commissioned tomb paintings depicting Thoth, the god of wisdom, inscribing glyphs upon its bark. These images did more than illustrate. They encoded an inner map of the soul, teaching that beneath every physical reality lies a living intelligence, branching and interwoven, guiding the adept toward transformation. By the medieval era, the tree's resonance reached the mystics of Kabbalah in Spain and Provence. Seated around flickering candlelight, Rabbi Isaac Luria and his disciples traced 17 interconnected paths between 10 luminous spheres, sephirot, each sphere representing an aspect of divine emanation, from the hidden veils of Ein Sof, the infinite, down to Malkuth, the kingdom manifest on earth. This tree of sephirot was not an intellectual toy, but a living diagram of cosmic consciousness. To ascend it, the student had to purify each sphere within their heart. Compassion, strength, wisdom, and beyond, until the soul reunited with its source. Yet across time and geography, authorities often sought to suppress or sanitize this sacred teaching. Religious orthodoxy feared that a map of divine realms in human hands would undermine centralized power. Inquisitions, book burnings, and secret edicts shrouded the true meaning of the tree in layers of allegory and dogma. The church subordinated it to simplistic Christological symbolism, while medieval mages encoded it into labyrinthine treatises accessible only to the elite. Thus, the living tree, which once guided the masses into direct encounters with the divine, became a closed text, interpreted, debated, and often forgotten. but scattered fragments remained. In the Celtic groves of Gaul, Druids carved ring-like representations of the cosmic tree, believing its branches linked earth and sky, human and spirit. In East Asia, Taoist sages drew the universal tree in ink on silk, teaching that its three trunks, heaven, earth, and humanity, must be balanced to cultivate the elixir of immortality. Even among the Hopi in the American Southwest, an underground kiva painting depicts the sipapu tree, through whose hollow trunk the first people emerged into this world. Across every continent, the same symbol rose spontaneously, proof that the tree of life is written into the human spirit itself. Why then has this truth remained hidden? Because the tree of life is not a static icon to worship, but a living practice to embody. Its roots demand self-exploration. Its branches call for transcendence. Only those willing to undertake the inner alchemy, facing shadow, embracing paradox, and speaking the sacred language of the soul, can truly ascend. It is precisely this transformative power that kept it secret, passed down through whispered initiations, coded manuscripts, and silent rituals. In the next chapter, we will begin to climb this living tree, examining its roots in our unconscious, tracing the trunk of our moral and psychological growth, and finally reaching each luminous branch that points the way toward cosmic unity. The path awaits. Let us step forward with reverence and courage. As we begin our journey up the tree of life, it's important to recognize that this is not just a tree of branches and leaves. It is a map of existence itself, drawn across the canvas of the human soul and the cosmos. To understand its deeper meanings, we must look at its structure. Each part a step, each level a stage of growth. At the root of this tree, we find the unmanifest, the eternal source from which all things arise. In Kabbalistic teachings, this is known as Ein Sof, the infinite, an unknowable, unnameable force from which all creation flows. It is the seed of the tree, but it remains hidden, beyond the reach of the senses or intellect. This root represents the potential that precedes all things, before thought, before action, before form. As we move upward through the trunk, the first visible emanation is Chochma, or wisdom, the first Sephirot to manifest from the Ein Sof. In this place, there is no duality, only pure, unfiltered thought, the flash of insight that comes before language and structure. It is the primordial spark of intelligence, the initial outpouring of divine energy into the world. But this energy, in its purest form, is not yet ordered or shaped. Chochma represents the boundless potential of the mind, the quicksilver brilliance of creation's first breath. Moving on to the next Sephirot, Binah, understanding, we encounter the principle of form, the quality that allows wisdom to take shape. If Chochma is the light of the flash of insight, then Binah is the womb, the vessel that holds and nurtures that insight into something more tangible. It is the sacred feminine, the principle of contemplation and reflection. Where Chochma ignites, Binah forms and refines, giving birth to structure, logic, and discernment. Thus, the balance of Chochma and Binah forms the trunk of the tree, the masculine energy of insight meeting the feminine energy of form, each informing and perfecting the other. They are inseparable forces, and together they create the intellectual and spiritual foundation upon which all other qualities are built. Without wisdom, there can be no understanding. Without understanding, wisdom is fleeting and directionless. At the level of the heart, we encounter the next trio of Sephirot, Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet. These are the emotional and ethical forces that shape human behavior, connecting the intellectual structure of the tree with its expression in the world. Chesed, often called mercy, represents unconditional love, compassion, and benevolence. It is the expansive energy of kindness, the force that seeks to give without measure. It is the divine hand that stretches out in mercy without the expectation of return. In contrast, Gevurah, or severity, represents the principle of discernment, strength, and discipline. It is the force of boundaries, the ability to say no, to protect, and to refine the raw material of the world. In spiritual practice, Gevurah is the energy of purification, of pruning the tree to allow only the strongest branches to grow. These two forces, Chesed and Gevurah, seem to stand in opposition, but in truth, they are complementary. Without Gevurah, Chesed can become indulgence, unchecked and chaotic. Without Chesed, Gevurah can become harsh and merciless. And then we come to Tiferet, beauty, the harmonious integration of Chesed and Gevurah. Tiferet is the heart of the tree, where love and discipline meet in balance. It is the principle of truth and beauty in the world, the force that brings harmony to disparate elements. In the human soul, Tiferet represents the self in its most authentic, compassionate, and centered form. The radiant energy draws us toward unity with all that is, where the divine spark within recognizes itself in the divine spark of others. Together, these three Sephirot, Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet, form the middle pillar of the tree. They represent the balance between heart and mind, the ethical and emotional dimensions that lead us toward deeper understanding and integration. But this is only the beginning of our ascent. The tree of life is not simply about reaching higher intellectual and emotional states. It is also about embodying divine qualities through action. In the next section, we will continue our exploration, moving up to the higher Sephirah, where the soul begins to experience direct union with the divine. There, we will find paradoxes and mysteries that challenge our very understanding of reality itself. As we ascend further on the tree of life, we enter the higher realms, where the esoteric significance of each Sephirah begins to deepen into a mystical experience of divine unity. These upper levels are not just abstract ideals. They represent powerful forces that govern the spiritual and cosmic dynamics of existence. Here, we encounter the heights of human potential, the secret workings of the universe, and the hidden laws that bind creation together. At the top of the tree, we encounter the divine triad that completes the structure. Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. These Sephirot connect the intellectual and emotional realms to the material, physical world, where the energies of the higher Sephirot begin to manifest in a form that is perceivable by the human senses. First, we meet Netzach, which translates as victory or eternity. This Sephirah represents the energy of endurance, will, and creative drive. It is the principle of the unstoppable force, an eternal drive that pushes us forward in life, overcoming obstacles and striving toward our goals. Netzach is often associated with the masculine energy of active force. It is the relentless, passionate energy of action that propels the soul to manifest its vision in the world, ensuring that all creative efforts persist and endure across time. In contrast, Hod, which translates as glory or splendor, represents the principle of intellect, analysis, and communication. It is the counterpart to Netzach, the feminine energy that tempers and refines the active force. While Netzach is the drive that propels us forward, Hod is the wisdom that guides and directs that drive. It is the force of understanding, structure, and analytical thought, the mind's capacity to organize, categorize, and decipher the world around us. Hod teaches us that without the intellect to channel and focus the energy of Netzach, our efforts may become chaotic and ineffective. Together, Netzach and Hod create a dynamic dance between action and understanding, a dance that directs our creative potential into the world. But there is still one more Sephirah left to complete this triad: Yesod, the foundation. Yesod acts as the intermediary between the higher, spiritual realms of the tree and the physical world below. It represents the principle of manifestation and serves as the channel through which the energies of the higher Sephirot are grounded and brought into physical reality. Yesod is often associated with the moon, representing the subconscious mind, the realm of dreams, intuition, and deep, hidden knowledge. It is the fertile ground upon which all spiritual seeds are sown, the vehicle that transforms spiritual desires into material form. It is the foundation upon which our physical lives are built. In a sense, Yesod is the vehicle of manifestation, bridging the gap between the unmanifest and the material world. Without Yesod, the divine ideas of the higher realms would remain abstract and unformed. With Yesod, they take on tangible shape. Now with these three Sephirot, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, we arrive at the nexus where the spiritual world converges with the physical. These energies provide the foundation for our experience of reality. But this is not the final level of the tree. The last Sephira, Malkuth, represents the kingdom, the material world itself, the physical realm in which we live, breathe, and act. Malkuth is often considered the most enigmatic of all the Sephirot. It is the endpoint of the energy that flows through the tree, the place where all the preceding energies culminate and manifest in the world of form. But Malkuth is also a mirror. It reflects the fullness of the spiritual journey, the entirety of the tree, into the physical plane. Malkuth is both the destination and the point of origin. It is the world in which we exist, but it also contains the potential for divine transformation and enlightenment. This final Sephira is the key to understanding the nature of reality itself. Malkuth teaches us that the material world is not separate from the divine, but is a manifestation of it. It is in the material realm where the journey of spiritual realization reaches its full expression. The tree of life is not just a map to be studied, but a process to be lived. The physical world, when understood through the lens of the tree, is revealed as sacred, a living symbol of the divine emanations that are constantly unfolding. The mysteries of the tree of life are not simply intellectual. They are lived, breathed, and experienced. As we move through each of these Sephirot, we gain deeper insights into the forces that shape our lives, the relationships between the mind, spirit, and body. The tree teaches us that enlightenment is not a matter of transcending the physical world, but of embracing it, understanding it, and harmonizing with it. So, how do we apply these ancient teachings to our own lives? How can we use the wisdom of the tree of life to transform our consciousness and manifest our desires? The tree is not just a spiritual concept. It is a living, breathing process that we can engage with every day. 1. Meditation on the Sephirot. One powerful way to work with the tree of life is through meditation. Begin by focusing on each of the Sephirot, one at a time, allowing their energies to flow through your mind and body. As you meditate on Chochma, reflect on the wisdom that exists within you. With Bina, consider the forms and structures you create in your life. With Tiferet, explore the balance between love and discipline. By focusing on each Sephira, you open yourself to deeper insights into the forces that shape your reality. 2. Balancing Chesed and Gevura. In practical terms, this balance of mercy and discipline can be applied in your relationships, your work, and your spiritual practice. When you find yourself overwhelmed by emotions, practice the discipline of Gevura to create boundaries, but always remember to temper it with the compassion of Chesed. This dynamic balance creates harmony in your life. 3. Manifesting through Yesod. Working with Yesod can help you bring your dreams and desires into the material world. To work with this Sephira, focus on the subconscious patterns that may be holding you back. Practice visualization techniques and affirmations, connecting with the deep well of intuition and understanding that Yesod represents. Let this energy guide your actions and bring clarity to your desires. As you work with the tree of life, you will find that it offers you not only a roadmap to higher consciousness, but also practical tools to navigate the material world. The knowledge of the tree is not reserved for monks in ancient monasteries. It is for you, here and now, in the very real world you live in. The tree of life is not just a theory. It is a practice, a practice that can transform your life, awaken your spiritual potential, and lead you toward true enlightenment. As we conclude our journey through the Tree of Life, remember that this is not merely a system of symbols. It is a living truth, a map of the soul and the cosmos, revealing the deep interconnection between all things, from the unmanifest source of Ein Sof to the manifested kingdom of Malkuth. The Tree of Life shows us that we are not separate from the divine. We are an active part of it, unfolding and expressing it in every moment. The real meaning of the Tree of Life is not just about understanding the structure of existence. It is about awakening to the divine potential within you and realizing that you are a vital part of the cosmic order. It is about seeing the sacredness in all things, from the smallest leaf to the vast expanse of the heavens. So, I leave you with this. What part of the Tree of Life do you resonate with most? How can you begin to embody its wisdom in your daily life? The answers to these questions lie within you, waiting to be discovered. If this exploration has resonated with you, subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Dive deeper into the tree's teachings and let its wisdom guide your spiritual journey.